introduce you to David. Hello, David. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah. Right, all right. Yeah, really looking forward to this.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. I think the RGF's an important initiative. The government set it up about 3 or 4 years ago with a simple objective, which is that as the economy recovers, as it finally is, that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. We don't have all the jobs created in the private sector in the South East and London, but that we make sure that jobs are also being created in places like the North West, where candidly, or indeed where I'm an MP in South Yorkshire, where candidly there was an over-reliance on public sector employment. So that was the idea behind the Regional Growth Fund. It's over £3 billion in total, big pot of money, and you know, as you've proved yourself here at Glen Dimplex, if you can use a bit of that money from the Regional Growth Fund and then add a whole lot more of your own money, then we get more bangs for our bucks working in partnership, and then we deliver what's the whole point of this fund, which is more jobs in the local area as the economy recovers. So that's the idea behind it all. The application of the Regional Growth Fund had one simple test, which was, would you use the money well to create jobs? Because that's what this is about. It's about creating sustainable jobs in the private sector in parts of the country which have been over-reliant on public sector handouts. You know, we've got to make sure as the economy recovers that we don't go back to the old days where places like the North West or South Yorkshire were just over-reliant on subsidies from Whitehall, because that's not a sustainable way of running an economy. So that was the acid test, was jobs, jobs, jobs. And we got this panel of, I mean, I'm in charge of the whole thing, and the recommendations finally come to me and ministers, but each application, including your own, was looked at by a group of business people chaired by Michael Heseltine. So these kind of hard men and women sort of looked at it with a business kind of hat on and said, look, this makes business sense, that's why you should go ahead with it.
The North West has been reliant on public sector jobs and not private sector jobs, and I think with our application is, you know, gives us potential to grow some real jobs in the North West. I think the most important thing is sustainable over the long term, and you know, the winning of the grants will then give us choices about what we do in this factory, in this business, in the next few years.
I'm a massive fan of apprenticeships because, you know, look, I think for lots of young people, the idea of going to university and having their nose stuck in a book in a library for 3 or 4 years, it just might not be right for them. They want to learn by doing. They want to get their hands dirty. I mean, metaphorically and literally, in some, and earn actually while they're learning. That's why, you know, that's why, despite all the cuts and savings, all the unpopular decisions we've had to make as a government, we've actually poured huge amounts of new money to expand apprenticeships on a scale actually not seen in a generation or two, but also to break down this kind of barely concealed snobbery that used to say that a vocational qualification is not as good as an academic qualification. In fact, we've got to put them on the same pedestal, and the fact that, you know, Glen Dimplex is taking on apprenticeships, giving these 16 and 17-year-olds that, you know, that we just met a chance to get their, you know, their feet on the first rung of the jobs ladder, the qualifications ladder, is just fantastic, because it means that they're obviously working well for you, but gaining qualifications as well. Some of them, I assume, will also go on if they wanted to take degrees, so they can, you know, they can add to those qualifications later. I just think it's a great way to create this bridge, isn't it, between education and work.
What we've tried to do in our Made in Britain is we're not relying on the Made in Britain. That's really a bonus. And we see we've got to be competitive, our products have got to be of good quality, and if we can't be on the money with all the things that our customers, consumers want, Made in Britain is not going to sell the product. But I think Made in Britain will add to the customer's choice if we're meeting all the other needs of the customer. The Made in Britain campaign has, I think, gives a great boost to companies, and most of them are quite small companies, artisan companies. We've got some larger companies in there, but what it does, it focuses us on really pushing out to the consumer about the Made in Britain mark. There's many things that people don't believe are made in Britain, and lots of consumers now think manufacturing is dead in this country, but I know the very opposite, that manufacturing is alive and growing. and lots of companies are bringing production back into this country. And at the same time, I believe it gives us a great chance to export products as well. And the Made in Britain mark and Made in Britain products are still valued around the world. So I think that's another great advantage of the Made in Britain mark. And what we're trying to do as a campaign, a Made in Britain campaign, is really promote that with lots of different businesses in this country and encouraging people to export more and encouraging people to make things in this country.
You can do that.
Yeah, it's easy.
Thanks very much.